Hey, so we're gonna be starting again. Enchanted Item. Still the most fun for me. Um, Not so much right this game. I think we'll just take the Piranha. Um, it's a little frustrating this isn't a friend still. I mean, not that I thought it would be a friend. This game. Um, and then I think I'd usually go here, but I think I want a little bit of power. So yeah, this is exactly what we're looking for. I want to be able to fight the Viper if we see it. We don't, but we'll fight the bees. You can beat bees with nothing, I believe. It's actually the case that with nothing on the board, the stinger will not scale because they have the trained. So if you have an item that does not very much, but you're better off taking it off the board. Oh, that's nice. Um, this is sort of a build I like to go. I think the best chance to be powerful enough to win the fight is to go towards. We just want to take because okay. So the thing is, day one, I believe there is zero way to expand your board, right? Um, so basically, so we want power that is non-board power. I think this is maybe better. I think we're dogging this fight still. I actually don't think putting this. So after this does 80 damage over 8 seconds. This does 40 damage over 10 seconds. However, this is done after 8 seconds. So at 20 seconds, this balances out. Is the fight going to go 20 seconds? I'm not sure. If we get a lucky crit with this, maybe this is a... So, Is there a way... The problem is we can't have both these on the board at once. I think we're going to risk it and go for the Lang scaling. I'm actually not sure if Lang's any good. Um, I've been sort of off of it lately. But one thing is we don't like them getting regen. Burn is fine. I mean not great obviously, but we do have some shielding. The only problem is like poison will get under us and regen. You can see we don't actually do a lot of damage, so they're able to heal up quite a bit. They're not applying a ton of poison damage, but they are stacking regen and poison on us, which means that sort of the tilt of the fight is like the HP is going towards them. We do get a big shot there, but I think overall we're gonna lose by a little bit. So this did get multiple shots off. I think this. How many shots did this get off? 2 or 3? 3. Yeah. So this was better than double barrel. We just got a little bit unlucky there. Just tough matchup. Oh, I thought we had a friend. We didn't. We end up with a loot item. Okay, I don't mind 2. 2 regen here. None of these really benefit us. I think we'll take right eye. We already had right eye. We'll take the upgraded one. Sell this. Put this in. I think we can take a fight here. Mosquito's an easy one. We'll see if we can get the Lang scaling. Keen Eye and Rush is actually very good, especially single weapon builds. Um, just getting haste at the beginning cuts a second and a half off your attack. It's gonna be good. You can see we have a bunch of ammo items that run out of steam, but overall this is an easy win. Pretty nice. This can get to 80, then 120, which makes up a little bit for losing the first day. Keen is fine. Keen Eye. Can we beat Rogue Scrapper? I think maybe not. I think we run out of damage. We do have 5 ticks left, so we can go Mosquito again. Again, a lot of these things are actually really good. The wings are very good. Proboscis is actually, there's some nice builds with Proboscis also. The problem we would run into is if once a barrel and a grenade run out, we end up very weak. And they have, the Rogue Scrapper has healing and, mostly shield at the beginning, but a little bit of healing, which would just make it difficult if the fight, becomes an extended fight. I think we're going to JJ. This is good in some builds, not really the one we're going. honing steel. We could start honing steel this. Yeah, let's grab it. We do need to get a little bit stronger here. Powdered flask. Powdered flask could be good with the double barrel, especially if we can get an upgrade. Looks like we won't. This only sells non-weapons. How good are non-weapons gonna be? I think we mostly want weapons, so I think instead we'll take regen, which makes us slightly stronger in this fight. We could get an ammo item. Yeah, let's take an ammo item. There's only so many ammo items that aren't upgrades. Yeah, here we go. So we get an upgrade here. I think we make this now. I think we make this the rightmost item. And we do something like this, so we'll get the reloads. These actually trigger at the same time. So I think this will get reloaded. And then I think this gives us a decent chance. They're level 2, which means they have... Is that 300 HP as level 2, or is it 400? Do we have 400 at level 3 and they have 300 at level 2? So yeah, if we get some good... If we get one volley off, right, this is 40. By the time this hits, this will have done 80, so that's 160. Plus... Or, sorry, this is 200, this is 100. So yeah, we end up with an easy victory here. Not too bad. This will be sort of... This is a 45% crit chance, so... We're actually decently likely to get those. And then we have the scaling on the Piranha. The Piranha just is the one that gets the added value. Oh, medium weapons. We have a lot of medium items. We have a lot of mediums. Very strong medium item. I think we'll take this. And I think we'll take the upgrade here. I'm sort of wondering... I mean, we'd like to cut the honing steel. I think we go like this. One of the issues with Shock Claw and Double Barrel is that Shock Claw goes off after the Double Barrel's first shot. I always like Powder Keg, but we're not really in a Powder Keg position. Upgrade on Double Barrel is very attractive. Yeah, and I don't think we want... Are we going to be full board? Yeah, maybe we'll be full board at the end of this day, right? Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4... Yeah, okay, so we will be. So let's upgrade the Double Barrel. Like I said, it's not perfect with Shock Claw, but it's fine, and we have extra room. There we go. And do we beat the Scout Trooper? Scout Trooper kicks out a lot of damage is the issue, but I think we can survive 10 seconds. In 10 seconds, this will do 200. This will do another 200. This will have done 40 plus 60, so 500. This will do... this hits first, so 26. Plus this will hit first, 30 something, 34. Plus, I guess in 12 seconds it will end up doing... yeah, so I think if we get to 12 seconds and get the second hit off of this, I think we're fine. And I think we usually get to 12 seconds, right? That's 6 Uji shots, but only 2 bolus and the shots. Oh, I didn't account for the slow. We do get some healing here. Yeah, I think we're fine, right? Yes, beautiful, okay. Yeah, it wasn't even that close. This, crit. Pretty good crit when this starts starting up. So, we get that. Get a little Uzi. Uzi's actually really good here. It's probably better than honing steel. Sells non-items, sells chocolate. Okay, so getting 3 chocolate is strictly worse than 5. I think we'll just go non-weapons. We're looking for like silencers. I actually don't think we want to upgrade our honing steel because I think it's about to get cut. I do love this, and I'll take this for econ. What are we looking at here? So we can throw this on board. I actually think we will upgrade the Star Shot. I'm always sort of looking for the single item build. Single weapon build. Not like looking to go it necessarily, but looking to have outs to it. And, you know, having an upgraded Star Shot and a scaling lane gets us in that direction. I think we just take the regen here. You could also take the shielding. But I don't know if this is long for this world. So Uzi obviously scales well with the Shock Claw. We'll buff the grenade. I think the grenade getting crits is probably ideal. Although, this does double crit damage. Yeah, maybe just doing this is, you know, I don't know. crit is going to scale with the damage output in general. It depends how long the fight goes, I guess. This looks hopefully to be a shorter fight because they have a lot of regen and poison, so I think we're advantaged in shorter fights if the fight goes on for a while. You basically want to win, when you're playing something with like a Lang, right? Um, well, this fight turned out a little bit differently, but you're basically looking to say, how many attacks do I need to get off? And those attacks are generally going to be the lethal ones, right? So the first or second or third Lang attack, are you saying like, am I going to get to, 10 or 20 or 30 seconds in order to, win with that? Oh, well, we're very broke, so maybe I shouldn't be rolling, but I do the thing where I don't get punished, although I do the thing where I'm so broke that maybe I am punished. I'm just going to sell all of this. No, I guess I can keep the amber geese. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to buy this, but I think it's early enough that the scaling is worthwhile, so I'll go for that. I could have sold off some other stuff and played the start shot on my board. Like we could have maybe sold off the double bell. I was about to click this, but we can't afford anything. Is there anything worth transforming? Transform your items into something new. I wonder if this, like, do these transform into another... does it carry over the enchantment? Shielded... Oh, yeah, so it does. That's cool. Can we beat this because of this enchantment? Huh. It is so costly to lose. But I kind of want to try. And see if the shield comes out fast enough. Because the shield really cuts down on the burn damage. Problem is, if we get to half health, we just got to half health. Okay, so we're fine. Never mind, I was just talking. I don't actually think, do we need the crit there? I didn't actually watch, I was totally watching other thing. Would love the skill here. Cores are not super great. That was really risky. Maybe it wasn't risky. It seemed risky, but it's possible that, the math just works out that we'd ever have a chance to lose. Hoping for a fight here. We get one, beautiful. Basically another 80 damage on a Lang. I always call this Lang. I think it's Langxian. Apparently it's a real type of thing. Langxian? Yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah, I mean, I think we're scaling pretty well. We dropped the first day fight, right? And I don't think we really had a way to win it. It's hard not to greed for the Langxian. I think we do have a start shot, so I think work the docks is great. We're low on money. We're not low on XP, but we'd always use some more. We're at level 5, they're level 4. I think we're, in a good position in this fight. Looking at your health too, right? They're probably going to be a little higher in pig, although they're a level behind, so it's hard to tell. A lot of burn coming out. You figure Lang is doing about half their health if we get a crit. Well, only 4%. Obviously, it's not right. It's only getting it from Kenai. That's decently likely to, do half their health after 10 seconds. The rest of our items can deal the other half of their health. So it puts us in a decent spot a lot of the time. Just try to, see where your scale. Basically, the idea is try to see like where your scaling is relative to your health pool to see where it might be there. I'll just take the 3 XP. Is this still bugged? This has been bugged where you just don't get the loot item. Okay, no, I got the loot item. Okay, so here we go. Sell that just to get the regen. Poison isn't doing anything for us. I don't feel like transforming anything. So let's see. Nothing great. Submersible, is that submersible working? This just gives plus 20 damage. Is that something we care about here? I don't know, actually, and this should be over here, shouldn't it? Yeah, I think we don't care about this right now. It's probably just not worth it. Trash Town is great. One of the issues is, so I'm not 100% sure about the saber, the middle person, it's like a demon, has a skill that buffs, it says your left and rightmost have reduced cooldown, and that would obviously be great on single weapon builds. But since Silencer generally goes to the right, it seems like, most things only affect items that actually have cooldown. but that one, when you hover it, seems to indicate that it's literally like strict with its positioning. So I'm not 100% sure. I think we have one of these. We'll take it for more econ. Econ's doing a little better now. I was really broke the first day. This is crit. I think crit is fairly good here. I could imagine this being useful. Maybe subbing out a double barrel at some point. Maybe subbing out this. Do we need bronze stuff to sell? We actually have a lot of silver stuff. Bronze stuff to sell. Let's take a free item then. There's a bronze item. So we're going against Malamar. This is doing 160 damage. So 160 damage, we have, 1,000 health. They're probably in a similar boat. 160, this is doing 600. This is doing, in that same time, 200. So that's about the damage we need. Does the crit do anything? I wonder if doing a swap like this makes sense. Gives us more crit chance, and if we fall below half health, it slows them down, gives a little disruption. I can see that being better. I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, this is, a huge damage decrease, but we'll see. I think we have the damage. Otherwise, yeah, see, they're about 1,000 health. They have a lot of poison stuff. Oh, they get an interesting build. I always thought this had lifesteal. Maybe I just saw one that had been granted lifesteal somehow, and always just assumed it was an innate thing. So it looks like they're in a position where if we get the laying off, we win. Oh wow, we were at, what did we? I think we crit with something, right? Did we crit with? I didn't see what happened. Maybe it was the second grenade. We couldn't even get to 9.4 seconds. Now this attacked twice, so this must have got slowed by something, right? Is that what happened? Oh yeah, slow this. Yeah, okay, so that's what made this take so long, because this got 2 attacks off, right? So, and this got 5 attacks off, so it was about 10 seconds, and this still had an attack, so that got a little slowed down. But we got the win. That was probably a little bit lucky. Silver or lower weapon, or sorry, item to upgrade. We'll just do our start shot because we think that probably factors into our, build going forward more than the rest of these do. Medium items are pretty good here. These are both medium, although I think we're maybe not super likely. I guess we just saw a gold one. I was going to say we're not super likely to find a gold one. I like having a wanted poster to give added XP. I wonder if start shot's just worth putting in now. If we do something like this, increased crit and lowered cooldown, or we can go maybe like this, right? Increase the crit, lower the cooldown of this. Ramp up the scaling. Okay, we probably don't need to sell stuff we don't need to, but let's do it this way. And I do like robots sometimes, but you do want it at the upgrade. The upgrade is really significant, so you generally don't need it early. Start shot, give us a little XP and some gold back. We did just spend down a little bit. I think we beat Lone Shark. Lone Shark is, I think, surprisingly difficult, but I think we should be able to get our 10-second attack off before this scales too much. Do they have any way of getting haste? Oh yeah, when you use an aquatic item, these are aquatic. Okay. So because I know I always see the scale pretty high, but oh well. It's going to be closer than we were hoping. But there we go. I guess we're still at 800. But I mean, I say, we're at 800, right? But this volley that was about to go off was like 300, 100, 200. And it was going to get some scaling, so it was going to be close. Oh, we got an upgrade on the shock claws. We're probably not keeping this for too long. Can you hear me? Yes. But it's a nice upgrade there. Again, we'll go for a fight. We just get the XP. Obviously, the fight gives us scaling. That's what we're looking for. Weapons, gold tier skills. Most weapon skills aren't great with this. I think we'll just look for gold tier skills, see if we can get anything. These were kind of got punished. Paying 6 for the reroll is not great. So the first time you use an aquatic, so we'll likely there are certain aquatics we can play in our late game with a single weapon build. Not these ones here, but yeah, not necessarily these ones. Life Preserver you could play. Obviously not these ones that are weapons, but sometimes like a dock line or like a clamora. you just throw that in for the slow, and then it will just haste your Ling, given it's the only weapon. So we'll maybe look to go into that. So I think this will be better later, and also it still works now, right? Because these are aquatic items. This build with the freeze bugs has really been frustrating to play against recently. It seems pretty strong. I haven't played dually. Oh, that's nice. We got the 24% crit. I think we were okay either way. Although if this got to 800, maybe we die to this, or maybe we weren't okay. Maybe we didn't need that crit. Yeah, I've never played dually. I just don't own him. But the bug build has been like the perma-freeze sometimes just really gets you. Ooh, nice fight. This is usually a pretty easy fight. Nothing amazing we can get except the ambush, I think, is usually pretty good. It's just free value, right? It's a skill that just does 15% of the health. You can actually upgrade, I think, to 30%, which is really significant. Like, it really ups your kill range that you have. So, I don't know. It seems pretty worthwhile. Any chance we get it? Nah, we get a little revolver. Whatever. I mean, we really lucked out. We don't have any of that, so we'll take the loot. This does bronze items. We don't have any bronze items we want to upgrade. I think I'm just going to sell off something just to... I don't like having no slots. Sometimes I get random things. We're going to do a start shot again. It looks like we might hit level 10, which will give us the enchant. I think we beat Chili here, right? I think we do need to fight Chili. Chili is just a little annoying because sometimes they can just hit you with like so much freeze and you just like don't do anything and you just can't get through their stuff, like their shielding and their healing. But we do scale on them, which means that, and if we get a really lucky crit, it's 24%, keeps coming up, then, it can get annoying, and then you just get attrition down because you don't have enough health. We'll clear a little room. We're just going to sell this off, obviously, but we want to just not pass up on the gold. We could take the temporary boost, but I think we're strong, and I think we really want to find a silencer. Okay, so we want to sell this off. Because we have amber geese, this is plus gold, because you pay 4, and then it sells for half, which is 2, but it also gives the piranha, which sells for half, and you get the 2 gold for this. It's just, worth doing just for the free value. Is the upgrade worth it? It's worth something. For 2 gold, I think, we take the marginal value here. This being at 1,000 is pretty good. Ooh, if any chance we get another fight? Wow, I think we've really lucked out with some of these fights, and we got this upgraded to gold at some point, so that's pretty nice because, you think this has, I think, we're at 2,000 health, we're hitting for 1,000, it's allowing the, scaling to keep up with, our health, sort of staying at around half, and the idea is eventually, right, you get 100% crit, and that's when it's one-shotting, because obviously, you want a one-shot, not two-shot. So heal becomes pretty, it's not that it's bad, it's just not super useful for one-shotting, and, we go Crow's Nest a lot of the time, so I think we'd rather look for something else. What is this one? Is this Turbo? Or is this... Yeah, Turbo's not amazing. Maybe helps you get the second shot off. Heal is probably better in these fights then, because, we're better off getting a giant heal on the first attack. But, I was hoping to roll a little bit higher, basically. So it looks like they have a ton of burn, so we might need to get some kind of crit in order to stay in this. Well, we might just be out of it either way. Are we just getting crushed here? It's hard to tell. Wow, very close here, I think. Yeah, that was a lot of burn. Took a significant amount of damage. I wonder if we had the heal, maybe we get this, or maybe not taking the heal was too greedy. Yeah, huh. So looking for silencer here, or a start shot. Find neither. What is this one? Just a haste grape shot. We kind of want to get off of this stuff soonish. Yeah, nothing really great. We're at 12, so even if we lose, we're okay. Bouncer doesn't really give anything we want. We want to get down to 1 weapon, so this wouldn't do anything. A lot of times you just get this stuff, you sell it for the gold. But we're just going for the XP. Getting to level 13 would be nice, give us an upgrade. I think like 10, or like 4, it seems like every 3, right? So 4 because 4 is the first upgrade, I think, then 7, then 10 is the enchant, and 13 is the other upgrade. So those are sort of like big breakpoints. Katana, I actually has been coming up a lot on, but we don't have burn or poison, so we'll just take this one. Reduces your aquatic items. I don't know if like rerolling. Again, if we go like dock lines or something, this is nice. Take the random one. We can upgrade. I think our best upgrade is the start shot. The laying, the upgrade doesn't give us any immediate power. This does. We don't have any bronze items to upgrade. We also have the, well, I guess we do, but it doesn't matter. The upgrade doesn't help us. We actually don't want any of the ammo items. I think we're just looking for this. No, we end up with an ammo item, so sometimes you can't escape it. Okay, we're fighting level 10 Vanessa. Looks like she's been doing well, won a lot of things. Doing some ballet or something. So, yeah, 2,700 health. So now we need a little bit something to start keeping up. Obsidian Fang. I do love Obsidian Fang. So we're going to take a lot of damage. Yeah, I think, you know what, I'm sort of looking back, the heal maybe would have been something to, that would have helped us out, because looks like maybe we can win that if we have the heal. I wonder if I'm going to just get punished this whole game for not taking that. I don't know, I was thinking go for Crow's Nest, but I don't know. I wonder if just on average it's enough. These are selling for 16. That's good. If we're playing this for an econ event, but I think we can maybe do better. I should have checked out that metronome. I don't know exactly what it does, but I see in a lot of Dudley builds that are pretty strong. Here's a restorative dock line. I was talking about going into dock line. I think I'll just take my silly little healing dock line. I think I'll take some XP, give myself some max health. So I think I'm going to move off of these. I think I'm going to play dock line over these. I'm going to start going down in the number of weapons. Maybe just go towards crit. What does something like this look like? I wonder if there's any chance this is better. We won't have the scaling. This, of course, doesn't do much. I mean, this doesn't heal for much. Can we beat this? I wonder what it looks like if we have wanted poster in. Because then this turbos these two. And we just hope to, or hoping turbos 2 items so we could take this out too, maybe? How useful is the scaling? Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if we beat this. I guess, we'll go Blood Reef Captain because there's enough drops from here that are pretty good. Right? Because the Crow's Nest is really good, and the Arsenal is really good, and the Heavy Firepower is decent. I guess it's only 25 damage. Do we beat this? I actually don't know if we beat this. Yes, I guess we beat it if we crit, because, that's the nice thing. The puncher's chance we talk about is if you can one-shot, you always have a chance. Okay, so this gives us cooldown reduced for a weapon, a tool, so we're getting 10%. Vehicle, so the boat is obviously a vehicle. However, we can also get a rowboat. And we can also get a 45 or 40. Okay, we're going to sell some stuff off just to create room. And this just fits cleanly here. 109 crit, so that's perfect. And I wonder if, we can look for a rowboat. Ambergris, grab that. So we don't have, so what's this down to? So, yeah, we're really looking to replace this with a silencer. That's how we complete this build. So we don't really need any weapons. Upgrading this isn't that valuable. I think we just take the temporary boost, and I think is the damage better than the health? I think the health maybe gives us a little margin. It's basically about, you're getting, so this does damage, and we sometimes talk about DPS, right? It does like 200 DPS, but it does damage in bursts, so we're just talking about if we can get to the next burst. So maybe that gets us to one more attack. And we need at least 2 attacks, right? Because this is going to crit every time, but it's never going to kill. We just didn't scale enough. I feel like we scaled a good amount, so I think it's just a matter of, at some point, you do sometimes need those 2 attacks. There we go. So at this point, right, the lifesteal from this is, it means that the turbo is, I think, a little bit better. We did get slowed quite a bit. I think most enchants would be better than turbo here. See, the problem is, like, we'd really love to upgrade a silencer. I think Dark Lines isn't a bad one. I wonder if skills are just better. Yeah, first time you slow freeze seems a little bit better, because you can upgrade Dark Lines other times. Dark Line is really good. It's a good upgrade. Pearl's great. We don't have that much money, though, so we're looking for silencer. Here's a Clamor. Is Clamor better than... Probably better than the Pop Snappers. Just slows 3 items. Triggers immediately, gives us the haste a weapon right away, and then the Dark Line triggers. Well, every 2 point. Oh, because it's getting the 10% from this also. Right? So it's and 20%. Oh yeah, wow. Okay, so that's doing it pretty fast actually. Not bad. So I had 6 wins after 9 days, so that is tough. Oh, I almost clicked here because you do want Crow's Nest usually, but we don't actually have any. We got a maxed upgrade ones. Frost Street I think is generally has been tough lately to beat. I think we can do it. Boss gives better skills. Although this skill is pretty good. I think, yeah, let's see. This might be a tough one, though. Because you do kind of get frozen a lot. And this thing scales quite a bit. Like, it already has as much damage as we do. And it looks like it can kill us in 2 attacks. Maybe 1 more attack. Oh, it looks like we'll get there. Well, yes, that is close. Basically, just like the scaling on this, it feels like has really gotten very, very strong. For this to get to it's not to 200, it got all the way to 2,000. Sapphire is pretty good. I think Clamor maybe is better here, but something to think about. So, we don't need crit chance, damage doesn't do anything. Maybe we just look for the weapon upgrade. It's not something we super care about, but it's not of no value. Well, that's interesting. These are all great single weapon, are pretty good. I feel like the submarine really takes a backseat to the submersible. Just because this has a 3-second cooldown, this is a 4. There's a 3-second when you have, these these are all vehicles too, so they actually get the extra cooldown. Ooh, let's get a silencer. Just give us a silencer, we'll be so happy. No silencer. Okay. We're just gonna keep looking. Diamond skills I think are usually just incredibly strong. So first time you haste, freeze, that's pretty good. Arbitrage I think is just not good. So when you use a weapon, reduce its cooldown, we're trying to one-shot, so I think this is generally not good. We haste immediately, so when we start the fight, we're going to slow, which is going to... And we're going to slow with an aquatic item, which is going to haste, which is going to freeze. In addition, we have... This is going to slow immediately and give us the... this freeze. So we're freezing 2 items right off the bat, in addition to slowing several items. I don't know if those can. I think they can overlap because of the different triggers. We need to get at least 2 attacks off. It looks like they're all damaged, so they don't really have any regen. They have regen, but they don't have any sustain other than that. So it looks like 2 solid attacks will do it. And Ling is fully hasted, which means we get it in about 9 seconds. It looks like. It looks like the runic daggers got off once. So we really just outrace them there. We have a surprisingly high amount of disruption from our skills. It's interesting when we get if we get a silencer. I wonder if it's better to replace the Dark Line, just because the Clamor is triggering immediately, and maybe that's just better. Let's look for more skills. 10 times. I actually don't know if we are gonna go 10 times, so maybe look for something a little bit different. When you use a tool for slow, this is a tool. We don't know if we're keeping it. Don't have that much money. We could sell. We can sell the ambergris. I think maybe these aren't worth it. Skills are just kind of expensive. We did beat this last time. juggler. So this gives juggler. So if you have a large weapon, the juggler. So the thing, it's when you use a small item. I think this one. There's a couple of these I confused, but I think this one is when you use a small item, charge your large item by 1 second. So that's obviously very good in certain builds. I don't think it's good in our build because we don't have any large items. But otherwise, your clamours can charge your, if you're going single weapon, say flagship, right? Your clamours charge that. So that's one maybe you hunt for. Here we're looking for something like when you freeze haste, because we immediately freeze, or we look for something like this because then it basically freezes any non-weapon things. But we don't find them, but we get the XP, which is always a big part of what we're looking for. Shielding, not looking for. We're basically only looking for cooldown reduction. I think we're just going to take the change. I guess we could try to... Maybe it's, slightly more able to try to transform this into a silencer. Okay, didn't work. I actually don't know the percentages. I don't know how many items are in the game. You'd be surprised at the amount of things I can not know. I think instead of looking for a merchant, because I don't think they sell silencers, we'll just take temporary buff. Again, we're just trying to win every fight. They're level 12, we're level 15, so that's actually a fairly good XP lead we have. We've been pretty fortunate getting a lot of extra fights. Fixer-upper builds are always tough. Just kick out a lot of poison sometimes. If we can keep them, slowed, that would be nice. But yeah, we could definitely get overwhelmed by poison and shielding, because they shield for looks like 3,000, and we're only hitting for 3,000. So it looks like we're making headway, but we are we're taking a ton of poison in the meantime. So looks like we did overcome it. But this is a build. I've never quite gotten this to work. It's just pretty hard to get your fixer-upper. You have to get a lot of value on it. But if you can get it working, it's honestly, the reason it works is because it has such a low cooldown, right? It's like a 4-second cooldown. Buff the Clamor, just slows an extra item. That's incredible. And then we're just still looking for our silencer, which I think maybe got patched out of the game earlier today or something. I haven't seen a single one. Let's buy some XP. This will level us. Upgrade an item. Do we have anything to upgrade? Just gonna sell something just to clear some room. I mean, dock lines, I guess, are the obvious one. Although we do want to. I think dock lines goes from 2 to 3. Yeah, so it slows an extra item. That's obviously very good. I guess we just keep trying to beat up on the Frost Champion. Hopefully he gives us one of his skills eventually. It's all we can really do. Oh, I think it's actually high enough that we kill him in one shot now, which is... I think we fought him 3 times, and this is the first time we've been able to kill him in one shot, which means that the fight gets a lot easier because, the start of the fight, everything's frozen. Okay, first time you freeze haste, so, we're just sort of stacking freeze and haste. Okay, non-weapons. I guess we'll... Oh, we can't afford it. We can just go sell some stuff. We'll upgrade our... No, actually going to sell more stuff because I'm going to want to reroll. I wonder if we would get rid of the Clamor. This does trigger in 2 seconds, although I wonder if just having the haste is better. I mean, this is all if we found a silencer, like which one of these would we replace? Yeah, I think here is the regen worth anything? I mean, we're just taking the 5% max health basically. We're 1 XP short of a level. We're at 16, they're at 14, so it's not terrible, but you always like having that buffer is so nice, just gives you extra health. It doesn't really, it's just indicative that you might be at high health. And we do have a pretty health lead. Again, we're playing this like weird bug build that sometimes gets me. So we're gonna. Yeah, looks like they didn't manage to get the freeze one. Battery, I think, is one of the strongest items in the game. In certain builds, right? Because there's some builds that just, if you have the battery, you can trigger like an item that's balanced around having a very high cooldown early. These all do nothing, although we don't really have much gold. I guess we're going to do this when we have to cash in the Amber Geese soon. Flurry of Blows is very good. It's when you use a weapon, charge an item. All items are pretty worthwhile. We don't actually want any medium items. We don't actually want any haste items, so we'll take the temporary boost. Again, we'll just take the health. This could be our last day if we win, otherwise we'll have another one. I actually don't think it's worthwhile to try to get the laying here, obviously. It's at best going to add a scaling 20 damage after we beat this fight. This Void Colossus I think is a lot easier to fight because you don't get anything destroyed right away. It's not till this gets to 11 seconds. By then we'll have at least one attack off. We do need a second one in order to win, but it looks like with all our slow and haste we actually get, I mean they weren't even halfway, they just got really slowed, and we got really hasted. Yeah, not having Silencer, you just have a huge cooldown. When you burn haste, we don't have any burn at the moment. That's not going to help. We don't get any gold, so we'll hope for a feather. Nope. Okay, so, I mean, skills, we're still looking for small items, I think. Okay, no Silencer still. Huh. So, nothing too wild. This gives small buffs to poison, damage, or burn. Obviously, we have no poison or burn. Getting 10 damage on this, not super valuable. Curio can give us buffs on a slow or a cooldown reduction, so we're going to do that instead. I think, my understanding is that you want to remove, actually, is there, oh, no, you can't. Are we getting, oh, actually, remove the tool as well, right? Because then this goes back up. Yeah, we're trying to take out all the cooldown buffs from this thing because I believe this somehow scales off of. You want this to have the highest cooldown possible when you use that, is my understanding. Haste, okay, well, I'll have to sell something. I almost sold my star chart. We'll just buff the haste, and I guess we'll buff some other stuff. Seems unlikely to matter, but maybe. And we'll throw this back here. So I always forget to give this the cooldown reduction, but it's obviously very significant. And yeah, I think that's everything. We didn't get any of the feathers we were looking for, and we didn't get any of the slow increases. Like a slow increase from 1 second to 2 seconds on this is obviously great. Going into battle, someone at level 17 to 18, so it looks like this is we've had a level lead so far. Now it's sort of evening out. So it looks like they might be a crow's nest build. I know they're a water wheel build. This is also very strong. Poison doesn't really bother us just because it doesn't disrupt us too much. The shielding might start disrupting us, especially as this is getting we're getting very slowed, and they're scaling really out of control right now. They don't have crit, so we do sort of have the crit to maybe overcome that, but if they hit, okay, yeah, we were able to, so if they had done their hit, it would have got to the point probably where the shielding was just too much, because they're going to be perma-hasted. So we really just got there under the wire. That was a really close game, probably the worst game I've had so far since I got, oh, this says 56 now. It said 0 earlier. Although it says I was at rank 100. Although it seems like when I won, it went up, and it says my highest rank is the highest number. Usually in these games, you get, it's sort of like a 1 through whatever rank, so you want it to be a lower number. So I don't know what this number means, basically, is what I'm saying. But yeah, this is a pretty typical build. Usually you'd have a silence instead of clamor, but Dark Lines I think is if you're going to have one disruptive item, Dark Lines is usually pretty good. It, sort of casts a wide net when you're in terms of shielding. In terms of slowing. The 60, I wonder if this ever mattered even a little. We ended up just getting the laying buffed. We got this right out of the box. Invested in an early start shot. Lost a few fights, obviously. Got some really great skills in terms of freezing and hasting and cooldown reduction, which is awesome. There's a lot of good ones, obviously. So this isn't we didn't super high roll, but we definitely got some useful stuff. Which was awesome. So yeah, single weapon is just very good in this meta because there's a lot of, Mac has a ton of poison, but has sort of low HP pools, and can get a ton of regen, and there's not a lot of pig, like, you think if we're going out against like a 70,000 health Pygmalion build, this is going to be pretty bad, because basically eventually the, Lion's Cane, is it Lion's Cane? Or like the double whammy is just going to crush us. But I don't think I've seen a single one of those since Mac was introduced. I don't know if those just get like pushed out of the meta, like they just don't make it to whatever day we were on. Does it tell us what day we were on? I think we lost. We didn't get egged, right? But we did lose like 3 fights or 4 fights, so we were on day like 14. Um, so maybe they're just getting like pushed out of the meta, not making it that late a lot of the time. Or maybe that build got worse. Maybe it got diluted a little bit by like I know they introduced some like freeze items. Maybe, people are going more towards the freeze items. That's one thing, is like you don't have a lot of items. We actually had 3 active items because we didn't have a silencer. So, you don't have a lot of stuff to eat freezes and slows, which means like the radiant enchant is a lot better. One of the best defenses against that is just having really low cooldown, right? If your cooldown is really low, you just get under a lot of the things that aren't skills or like we have some instacast freeze. Is because as soon as the fight starts, we both haste and freeze and slow and freeze, and then also freeze and haste. A lot of stuff going on. These kind of all have a great interaction. Clamor's like main ability is you use this at the start of a fight. It just has a very long cooldown, so it's really just like to trigger all that stuff right away. And it does a great job of that. And it's a small item that has some utility that triggers a lot of stuff. But basically, one of the best things is you just because for most builds that don't have these type of triggers or skill triggers, they just have no defense or disruption before their first item triggers. Once your first item triggers, you start having these cascading effects like, we do because we have an insta trigger, we get all these effects. Imagine we didn't have this and we just say had dark lines at 2.7 seconds, which is very quick. That's when, our defense would come online and we get a few freezes. We could disrupt, say an enemy single weapon build. But a lot of opposing decks aren't going to have, or boards, I don't know what you really call them, I always call them decks, I actually go back and forth, I think, just aren't going to have, that type of disruption that comes out quick. So if you were to get like a silence or take this down 30%, I think it ends up being, I think it's like 30% of the 10%, right, not of this number, so it ends up being around, 3 point something seconds. I don't exactly know how it works. I don't know which things trigger in which order, like, if they're all additive or multiplicative. But it ends up being 3 point something. That's, and this is a very fast dock line, so like this does get under that, but a lot of disruption isn't going to be able to get you in time. So that's one of the other things you can do. But we were sort of built for multiple attacks because we had the haste. This wasn't a very big number. We didn't have the fiery poison or obsidian or shiny, which are all going to, increase your damage output, make the likelihood of a one-shot a lot higher. So ultimately, pretty good game. A little sloppier than it could have been. I think I made, the biggest decision point, I think, was I took the turbo over the heal, and I think there were maybe 2 PvP fights after that we might have won with heal, but lost with turbo. We eventually got the crow's nest, at which point the turbo was much better, or probably better. I think we won all the fights after we had the crow's nest. So it's hard to tell, but I mean turbo is very good if because it just lets it get multiple attacks off. But that was a decision point that might have lost some fights. That's something to think about. Thanks for watching, everybody.